Morning all, my name's Graham, so I'm from Canon UK. As you see, I'm the Pro Imaging Product Manager. What that means is I look after all cinema EOS, I look after Pro Photo as well, also Projector as well. So I'm here today to talk to you about C500 Mark II, our brand new exciting product. It's great for me to be a Pro AV because I live 7 minutes away from here, so it's really convenient on a Monday morning. I try to pop in as much as possible. But yeah, so let me just kind of go through a brief history of cinema EOS to remind you guys that we haven't actually even been doing this for 10 years. It's quite easy to forget that we only came with our first product in 2011. So where we've started from with the C300 and where we've gone to now, it's a huge step. So people really forget that it's only been a short amount of time that we've been around, so people are always wanting more, demanding more. So when we bring a new product, we try to bring as much as possible. So in 2012, we came with the C100 and the C500. We took a year off in 2013, and then we came with the C100 Mark II, and then the C300. We introduced our first flagship product, trying to break into that kind of A camera market, the C700. And then we came with a C200, C700 full frame, which is our first full frame product. As you know, while you're here, we brought out the C500 Mark II just recently. So what it is our kind of new generation of cinema EOS camera. As I said, the journey from that kind of entry point to now is a huge leap, and we've seen lots of things change in the market. We've seen full frame start to be kind of a format that people are really looking towards in cinema. So full frame for us, we're delivering a 5.9K sensor. This is a Canon made sensor. We're a company that make everything internally, so we're making camera, sensor, lens, the full solution is all made by Canon. So, and to build on that, we've also got our brand new DV7 chip. So normally when we bring a new product, we'll bring a new chip for it. Normally every 4 years we come with a new chip. So it really kind of sets the benchmark for where we're going to go. On this camera, we've got 2 CFast Express slots. The CFast Express is a brand new media. It was pretty much announced when we brought out this product. It will be coming more and more. CFast Express, you'll see more and more products taking it as a type of media. The price points, as on new media, will start quite high, but they come down. We will be giving away a 512 card free with the camera, so it will come in the box. You've also got an SD slot on there as well for proxy shooting. So, as I said, 5.9K. This is kind of really taking forward image quality as far as possible. A 4K seemed like a quite short shelf life, and now we've already moved forward. But this sensor is the one that we did put into our C700 full frame product, and it's delivering the same quality. So for this type of camera, shooting sort of 5.96K, if you want to call it, is really kind of the benchmark of what's possible at the moment. Main thing about the product is really impressive, as you see here. At the moment here, it's kind of rigged up in one of its most sort of simple forms, but the size of the product is really impressive. When I first saw it taken out of the box, I thought, they've sent us a C200 here. But actually, looking at the size of it and the modularity of the product, you can break it down as small as you like. You take the viewfinder off, and if you look at something like C300 Mark II, lots of people said that product's too tall, we can't put it on gimbals, we can't put it on certain rigs. We took a lot of the height out of the product. So, like I said, the viewfinder completely detachable. Also, there's
whoa, you have to start again.
Oh. Missed the most exciting part.
Should we guys move along? Okay. Way in here for you. There we go.
Welcome to you guys. Just let you know, my name is Graham, so I'm here from Canon today. We're talking about C500 Mark II. Just talking about how small this product is, which is one of the most impressive things. Normally in cinema EOS, it's a little bit Marmite with some people, that's the form factor of the product. But we've actually listened a lot to what the feedback from the market, taking a lot out of the height of the product, and also taking things like the viewfinder off it. It's an optional extra. So you've got a very small, very lightweight, unique system. So something else that this is the first Canon, is we've made the mounts interchangeable, user interchangeable. So it's just 4 screws. You change 4 screws, and you can change the mount. So it comes standard out of the box as EF mount, and then you can have a Cinelock EF mount or a PL mount. So price points on these are about 1,600 and about 1,200 for one of these. So that is completely user doable. So like I said, it's just 4 screws. So it opens you up massively to a huge amount of lenses. So you've got all the EF family and all the PL family as well. But for me, if you look at this one in particular, that used to be something you had to send your camera off to service to happen, which is about a 5-day turnaround, and that costs about £4,000. So to do that yourself and to do it for about 1,600 quid is pretty impressive. And even I can change that, so it's pretty easy.
This is one of them, by the way, so we can pass that round. The construction of that.
Yeah, so like I was saying, it just comes quite simple as that. You can change it yourself, just 4 screws. So just again, talking a bit more about the modularity of the product, you can set it up really as a lightweight setup, or you can go completely heavyweight. It's completely flexible product that can really cover all the bases. Yeah, so the kind of what we call extension units, they're optional extras. You can go for a viewfinder, which just clicks on the back of the product. It's just 4 screws again. And then you've got extension unit 1, which gives you gen lock and Ethernet.
And that's the one we actually have here on the camera today.
And then you've got the biggest one, which is extension 2, which gives you additional XLRs, and you get the V-Lock battery. So that will probably prove quite popular, and it also balances it if you're going on the shoulder or something like that. So one of the big things that we've added at this sort of level is dual pixel AF. Anyone familiar with dual pixel AF system? So I think we can all agree that it's class leading autofocus, and it's really exciting. And we put a new LCD monitor, so out of the box you'll get top handle LCD monitor and grip, and you can experience dual pixel AF on the bigger screen. So this is a very similar screen to what you get with C200, but it's larger. So completely brings all the good things about DAF. So you've got touch focus, auto tracking, all those things. So yeah, just to talk about those, you've got the focus metering guide. If anyone's never used that, I really recommend that you do. You can kind of choose where you want to put your focus. Once it all goes green, you know it's in focus, so you can trust it. And then also the tracking, you can just choose a subject to touch it, it will follow it around. You can choose multiple subjects, and then to do the touch AF and face detection. So these things are all straight out of the box, built in, and you know we put it on our entry level products now to our top level products. So we trust this system so much that we use it across the board. And I think you can see a number of people, not just me from Canon, that will say this is really the best in the business. And I think our friends from another brand who just brought a new product out are starting to actually talk about autofocus, where we've been doing it for years. We've been doing DAF since the 70D, which was I think 4 years ago. No, 5 years ago. So it's really been across the board. So recording speeds, as we see, in 5.9K, you can do 50, 60 FPS, and in 4K as well. And then if you want to do 100 to 120 frames per second, you get down to a 2K crop. So all completely built into the body. You've got your button layout as well as on your menu system as well. And then new feature is this kind of one cable. You can do everything over SDI or HDMI. I've not actually used this myself. I want to see it in action. But for us, which we really, as I said, when we started that sort of journey in 2011, from now we listen to what people need and what makes life easier, to make workflows easier. And this would definitely be something that helps people so you don't have loads and loads of cables all over the place. And then our ND filters, so we've got the same system that you've seen on Cinerios before. So you've got ND filters that you can just change over in camera. So a couple of other features. We've got the new on-screen display. So it looks pretty similar, but there are some kind of different things about it. Nothing major, but yeah, if you're familiar with the Canon system, it shouldn't take any real learning. It's quite easy to step into. And then something that's quite important for where we're aiming this camera. So this camera is kind of we're looking to kind of break into more cinematic features. We're introducing more anamorphic opportunities, so we can do 1.3 times squeeze anamorphic on here. So it's really key that we can have across the board. And then LUT support is a brand new feature, so where you can actually input your own LUTs. and store them on the camera. So again, listening to things in the past and things that are popular and putting them into new products, so easy to use. So kind of key features that I've just been through. Obviously, we've got 5.9K, immersive look. Modularity is really the key thing with the product. As I said, you can build it up, break it down how you like, and for any sort of situation you can use it. So really strong proposition from us. For where we want to take this camera, like I say, this kind of a camera. So we sort of dipped our toe in the water with the C700. It was really an aspiration of where we wanted to go. And this is kind of the follow-up where we can really see ourselves getting into that area. So it's not our flagship, but it's very much top of the range and could be used across the board. Same sensor as the C700 full frame. You can't do the ProRes internally like you can do on a C700, but for this you can do pretty much everything else. Straight out of the box. And where does that sit? Kind of in our range. So price points on the price, we start with C100 Mark II, which we moved the price. C200, we've moved the price. C300, all the pricing is here. C500, like I said, it will sit below C700 as our flagship, and then we've got Mark II right there. There's just an image of it kind of rigged up. You've got the extension unit 2 there, so you can sort of appreciate the size. And then because of its modularity, it can be used in very different situations. So we've seen it on drones already. We've seen it on rigs, different gimbals, all sorts. You can take it anywhere. Because how lightweight it is, and you'll get an experience to pick it up and play with it, you'll be surprised just how light the system is and what it can deliver. And I've actually got a couple of videos of it in use. So I got sent these videos last night, I hope they work. So I can just take you through some of the output that we've seen straight away. So this is a Jaguar commercial shot by Brett Danson, who works with Canon quite a lot. So he's one of the first people to use C500 Mark II. So this is the first sort of run pass that he sent me last night.
I'm in two minds if I want to buy the Jaguar or the C500.
It's quite nice. We've got quite a nice little partnership with Jaguar. We did something really similar for C200 that Brett, he does a lot of their work. He's been an ambassador for Jaguar. That together we've done a couple of collaborations which has worked quite nicely. But yeah, it's
That's
nice.
actual Jaguar commercial. But
Yeah.
it's not that one. It's an unreleased camera that he has taken out to use in a big commercial job.
So they trusted him.
Yes.
So he said, I've got this brand new Canon camera, I can't actually tell you the name of it.
Oh, trust me.
I'm going to trust you. And I'll show you some BTS stuff as well, which is shot on C200. And this shows where we actually trust Brett. We actually see him taking the camera off a rig through a window of a car, which if Canon knew he was going to do that, I'm not sure it would be like.
Is that the commercial? Is that actually now finished? Is that actually...
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure when Brett sent it over as kind of the first run pass, but I think it's near final grade at the
I
moment.
think it's when I spoke to him at IBC, he said that he expected the final HDR grade to take a good couple of months. So
Yeah.
this is way earlier than I thought we'd be seeing. So I think it's an early.
He showed us the hospital thing the other week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said he's going to do it in 3 or 4 weeks. So I was
Yeah.
thinking that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think
This
it's changed
is
since then.
we're not final, so
Yeah.
you probably seen this video then.
That's the problem with it being a real job.
Yeah.
Is of course he wants and Canon want to get it out there as quick as possible to use it for things like this. But it's a real job for Jaguar, so it's going through a proper post-production process, which takes
Yeah.
months.
It's evolved massively. So start off, he was just going to do something for their website, and that's actually in the commercial. So
Yeah.
it's changed a little bit, but they're really, really happy with the partnership as well. So for us, it's a collaboration that we hope to keep moving in the future. But yeah, I'll just show you guys the BTS as well. with, like I said, shot on C200. So that video really demonstrates how you can use this camera in many different situations. So you see it on a drone, you see it on a huge Russian arm. So that's the first time a Jaguar has ever been used with a Russian arm on the roof. So it really shows it like inside the car as well. So how you can break this camera up and use it for anything, like in any situation. So, and it also shows you how easily it's changed to mounts and things. So as a product and sort of the usability and modularity of the product in any situation, it's really a great thing for us, and it's a complete, I think, step forward for us as a brand, because if you look at like C700, people said, oh, it's really big. So we really listened to that feedback and really stripped back and made that product that is really small and lightweight. But yeah, that's it for the videos, and Mike on the Whistle Stop Tour, C500 Mark II. I'm here for any questions, or you've got many at the back. He's a product expert as well. So any questions? Power draw depends what you're shooting on, so we haven't actually specified exactly what it is yet. So if you're in 5.9K, I believe it's about 70
watts.
Yeah, if you're in 5.9K. Depends.
That's in the 5.9K raw, of course. It goes down quite a lot if you're in XF86.
Right.
Like quite a lot. Down to like, I think it's like 30.
That's more.
That's worst. Yeah, worst case if you're shooting. It won't get worse. But if you've got an extension unit 2 on, you've got some V-lock batteries. It can have that substantially.
Yeah, V-Lox is fine. It's when you're wanting to use the littler Canon batteries that they start to run out quite quickly. Particularly the little ones, the BPA 30s, don't last particularly long in raw. Yeah, the bigger one, 60. Lasts.
Right. It comes with 60.
Yes.
Oh,
Any other questions? Because I mean, we've got the entire day to play with this, so we can. I mean, it's your day. We can do what we want. We can either just have it here and you all just sort of gather around it, or we can set up a scene, or we can rig it in different ways. We can do whatever you guys really want. This is your chance to put this to the test. bit. But while we're here in our sort of sit down thing, this is also a chance to grill Canon a little bit on the ins and outs of it and sort of how it might fit into. I mean, who here is already a Canon user? Okay. Yeah, so we've got about half and half. So the people that aren't Canon users, what sort of cameras are we using? Who's a Sony user?
I have a F7 old Canon lenses. So
Okay,
that's what
fine.
I'm looking at.
Fine, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's a super common setup, really, isn't it? If someone wants to get Canon EF lenses, mess phones.
I would love to see the I don't know, maybe this is a future release, but I'd love to see the lenses that fit on an ESR also fit on those as well.
RF.
I think a lot of people want to see that because I think the RF lenses are really, really groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, because the backfocus system they use, we'd have to change the whole sensor setup of these products. So you'd effectively sort of make all the people on EF and the capability, it wouldn't work as well for those people. So I mean, you'd have to have an adapter straight on the box like we have with the EOSR.
Right.
I think in the future you'll probably see it, and if I look at the kind of future roadmaps of RF, and we brought out 10 RF lenses this year,
Right.
and we'll probably keep going.
Right. Because I think that's the way Canon is pushing that. They're really kind of pushing the RF product.
Yeah,
product.
and if you use the RF lenses, then you understand why. The lenses that we're bringing fantastically sharp, and then they've got control ring, all capability. So it's in the future I think you'll probably see it.
Because most people are going to probably be using that as a B cam while they're using that as an A cam.
Yeah,
Because they've obviously you can do C level both.
that's the dream setup. Yeah, because the colour matching and the C-Log works perfectly together.
Remember, that's quite a big leap between two cameras.
Of course.
It's quite more common that would be a B cam to a C200, and then a C200 would be a B cam to this.
Right.
So there's more going on than just these two
Of
products.
course.
And of course, EF and RF from Canon has always been two parallel lens lineups rather than it's just we're moving towards the RF is the future, we're just slowly easing out EF.
Right.
It's not that.
Okay.
It's EF is still very much a valid sort of product lineup for them because it's got different strengths and different advantages.
We're a huge amount of EF lenses out there, so we don't want to just sort of say that system's dead, we're going to go because we will still very much support the EF and still release the EFs.
Okay.
So they're going to run as Carl said, parallel with each other. But I imagine you'll start seeing more crossover in the future because all the benefits that RF delivers, and I don't know if the world's ready to swap over to RF yet, but everything that we can do with RF to put that in a Cinerios world will be very exciting. But like I said, we've only been at this for not even 10 years in Cinerios, so it's constantly evolving.
Okay.
I mean, the interesting thing about the C500, of course, it's got those interchangeable mounts. So, could we at some point get an RF mount for it? No. I don't think Canon themselves, no. Yeah. It depends on a lot of things from a technology point of view, whether or not the actual mount system and the pins inside it can communicate enough for the RF mount.
Right.
And also the flange distance, whether you can physically get, like Graham was saying with back focus issues, whether you can physically get an RF mount lens from the front of the camera. I don't know, I'm not an engineer, but certainly at the moment there's nothing like that. This is the air.
Okay.
Is the plan still to be releasing in December?
Yep, so we'll see first stock in December.
And how's the version 1 firmware shaping up?
I haven't had any, I've been using it quite a bit, I haven't had any issues at all.
No.
I tell you what, there was one issue with CFast card when I first turned it on. It didn't recognise the CFast card until I swapped.
I must have never had an issue with
That was
Canon
literally the
releases.
I use
Yeah,
a lot
so
of unreleased cameras and I see a lot of bugs.
No,
And that's the only one I've seen on it.
we're still in, and these are still kind of, they're not our mass production samples yet, so we'll get those when we get closer to December. So we get sent something called a MT, which is a trial version.
Right.
But we've just updated the firmware on all of these, so it's pretty much very, very close to shooting what you'll get when we come in December with stock. But yeah, firmware updates are always very, very quick.
What about low light performance?
Low light, say base ISO, I believe it's 800. But yeah, very similar to what you experience on many other Cinerios. So low light performance is very, very strong.
I've done a little bit of testing, and extra AVC is definitely cleaner than RAW, as you'd expect. RAW doesn't do any denoising or anything like that, whereas extra AVC gives you levels of denoising. And I've actually done some tests with the different levels of noise reduction. You can actually add a fair little bit before you start impacting the image at all, really. So I would definitely treat those as tools to use rather than hide away from, because oh my god, noise reduction.
So up to where you're guessing, and obviously we'll
I need to look at the actual
reaching for that video. What are you sort of looking at?
Oh, up to where in terms of
Yeah,
the ISO range? Oh, it's so subjective. So subjective. I would certainly say it's in line with C300's work. So wherever you were happy with, and to be honest, you said you're both FSO users, aren't you? I actually don't rate the ISO performance of that as high as the C300, so I'd say it's better. That's not really massive. I would rate this higher than the FSO in terms of low light performance. Let's just say it's a very subjective.
I think Carl's testing for most of these actually had it more than
Yeah.
every time I get one I send to Carl, he's doing lots of videos for us, so lots to come.
Nice bit of time. Anything else? Anything not make sense for you guys in terms of struggling to see how it fits into different people's workflow and stuff like that?
How many nits is the one that was the LCD?
Don't know off the top of my head. It's slightly bigger. Is it actually brighter than the C200 one, or is it just bigger?
This is the other question. We've been trying to find this out for a week.
Right.
Because we haven't actually been told yet.
I spent quite a lot of time in Egypt recently with a C300 underneath the black pro shooting.
Yeah.
It's a massive improvement on the C500. So, they haven't actually disclosed it to us yet. We've had this question quite a few times, so we are pushing Japan for the answer at the moment.
I wouldn't say it's bright enough for an Egypt test. Put it that way. To be honest, no camera LCDs are. It's nice that you can choose to have the viewfinder, and the viewfinder from the back is actually quite good. And then, of course, what you should probably be using is this. But I mean, of course, that's quite an expensive EVF, but that, of course, fixes the problem immediately. And actually, low budget, sort of high nit brightness external monitors have come down massively. Like there's the new Swit one, which I don't know if you guys have seen.
Yeah,
but
it keeps
it's-
popping up here, I keep winking at it.
it's only like a few hundred quid. It's 3,000 nits. It's ridiculous. So yeah, the barrier to be honest, we don't really need that on an on-camera one. I don't really want to see camera manufacturers come out with 3,000 nit like screens there, because of course it does impact some of the blacks off the top of the screen, and it also cuts the panel massively. And that's not really what that one is for. I would definitely use a viewfinder or a specialist.
Yeah.
But really, a viewfinder for operating the high bright screen is more for standing back to show a direct.
But the viewfinder doesn't fit if you've got the is it number 2 module?
Yeah, they take the same stuff.
You
So
can't
it's got the number
use
2
the-
module.
Not that you'd want to, don't do it like that anyway, would you? Really?
You can use an external viewfinder at the same time as extension unit 2. But if you just want to use just a viewfinder, R1, you can only use that. No other extension.
Yeah, there's one module slot on the back, and there's one video port at the front. So you can choose this or this,
Gotcha.
and you can choose one of the 3 modules. Combined.
Is there any way you think you might bring out a tap so you can have both of them?
In terms of both of these.
Yeah, because if you can't have a screen,
Yeah.
and it strikes me, never really having used autofocus before, but it would be quite nice just to be able to touch on something, so to follow that. But I wouldn't be able to work with a screen, so I'd have to have the eyepiece.
Yeah.
And then I can't have the touch screen, so I'm sure it become evident as we have a play with it, but how then do you select quickly and efficiently the focus point?
So you can select it very easily with the hand grip, so the hand grip moves that around quite
And
nicely.
if you haven't got the hand grip on, how do you do it? Is there a method then?
So there's some assignable buttons at the wheel, which you can go between preset corners. But no, you lose a lot of control if you don't have the hand grip or the thing.
Okay.
In terms of can a port exist, I imagine the technology can't do that, can it?
Not that I've seen.
Ever see 2 video ports on this in the future?
Yes.
Split it, one input to 2 outputs. Don't know.
It's a good shout.
Potentially. It's one of those things that, like I said, what you've seen with Cinerios the whole way is if there's a demand for something, we normally add it in.
Yeah.
If that's in the next model, or like if you look at C500 Mark II right now, we're just making all of them a touch focus kit. So we're adding a new LCD with a new sort of handle, so you can have touch focus instead of having that screen that you used to have with it. Yeah. We're putting the screens with C200, with C300 now. So people can have that experience on C500 Mark II.
Yeah. Because you used to have that problem with the red cameras, and since you only have one thing or the other.
Yep.
And then they give sort of wake up and they give you like 3 points and
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, of course, you can use a sort of third-party viewfinder.
Like a grant call or something.
Absolutely, that you can use no problem.
What are the thoughts on the back half of the one? What have we got?
So if we
wanted to look it up, so that's thing gets off super quick.
So we've got. So that's the module.
Yeah.
So that's different. We've got a monitor port, which is an SDI, and we've got an SDI out port. Difference between those two? One monitor and one SDI out. It always used to be on the C300 that SDI out would give you the raw output, but this does not do a raw output, does it?
No.
No. So I don't know what the difference between the two would be.
The menu data, is that any difference?
I think maybe you can set in the menus them as two different things, and then it
That's what I think.
have screens on one and a lookup table on one and not on the other, that sort of thing. Then you've got another BNC beneath it for time code. So you've got two SDI ports straight out the back for a graphical and something like that, and of course a HDMI port as well. And a mic and a headphone jack there. All just built into the body of the camera. And two XLRs.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can easily run a feed to a monitor and stuff like that. There is a slight problem with powering it in terms of D-tabs and stuff like that. If you've got the back, the V-lock back, then it's not a problem. Does the V-lock module have a D-tab back? Yeah, so you've got a D-tab built into it. Of course, most of the V-locks have D-tabs on them as well. Without that, I don't think you have any D-tab capability. Just like with the FS7 in the videos and you'd either use a third-party battery that has a D-tab thingy out, and there are some that exist, or use the V-lock module.
Any plans to put a D-tab on your batteries?
My life soon. We try to keep our batteries the same as much as possible. So when you go from the old model to a new one, your batteries work across. But I haven't seen any changes in battery at all.
And is the specs? Is there any sort of roadmap for adding things in the future? Any updates?
None that we've seen. I personally.
I'm not saying it's lacking.
No. I think out of the box, it's definitely the strongest proposition around for the price point. I haven't seen any future roadmaps of firmwares and things like that of adding things to it.
Any inducements or buyback schemes or trade-ins?
Potentially.
The ones to know about. For those of us that have a deposit on the FX9.
And we could definitely discuss anything. If you're really keen on something, we can work something out with these guys. Not a problem.
Yeah. Talk to sales teams.
And ask don't get.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, definitely. I don't think we're doing anything like aggressive, like market wide, saying we're going to do like a big trading. But we're definitely open to if you did have FS7 and wanted to trade it in, we'd definitely support that.
Okay. All right. So.
In terms of the Canon RAW, the 5.9K, is that supported by editing suites already? Is that just a resolution increase?
Yeah, so as sort of mentioned, it called the Cinema Raw Lite.
Yeah.
So something that we bought in for C200, when that came out, a lot of people were like, what is this format? And no one really knew exactly what to do with it. It didn't work with some things. But C200, as that's evolved, Cinema Raw Lite has evolved, and we've seen the next kind of version of it in here. But Cinema Raw Lite now, pretty much every editing software that you can drop it into, it picks it up straight away as a codec. So.
Okay, so there's no need for any update to support the 5.9K. It's just the same codec, but the resolution's increased.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
the resolution changing does change an awful
It's
lot
quite
from
a
a
big resolution
post-production
change,
point of
isn't it?
view, though. So you do still need to even though it's the same codec with a high resolution, the software does still need to support it. Nearly all of them are already out of the box.
Yeah.
Resolve is, I think, it's either one of Final Cut or Premiere Pro doesn't. Can't remember which one. Is it not Premiere? One of the two, maybe Premiere.
Premiere
doesn't.
does.
Yeah, Premiere sounds more believable.
Yeah, it's not.
I've certainly been using it in Resolve and it's absolutely fine. What do you edit in?
Right now, I've been using a mixture of Final Cut and Resolve.
Okay, if so, Resolve will absolutely handle it, and I think Final Cut does as well. Yeah, if it doesn't at launch, it will soon. I mean, it certainly does C200. C200 will always now support it. Is it? Okay, cool. There we go.
You know, what's good about the whole system, and Brett, who filmed that stuff, something that he brought up to me was that what he loved about it and how he got into that. I was saying he got Jaguar to agree that he could use an unheard of camera. Was that he knows that it just works across the board. So with all the editing software, post it works, third-party accessories, it just works. It's set up to work straight away out of the box. So all the spec that we're delivering straight out of the box straight away.
What's the price on the extension unit 2?
Extension unit 2, it's about 1,600, 1,700 quid. But we are going to offer that half price when bought with. Well, it's going to be half price when you buy it.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think most people we've spoken to want that extension unit 2. We unfortunately haven't got one here today because there's not that many of them around, these kits. This is now our demo sample. We're actually getting our extension unit 2 separately from Japan, which doesn't help. But that's on its way. But yeah, it's not huge, it's only about this big. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sort of brings it back out to about here.
Do we know what the weight is of that extension?
It's not
Not off
significant.
the top of my head.
Try and work that out.
It's not heavy. I'd say 400 grams.
Yeah,
But
I can
yes.
get that information if you want it, but it's not heavy. It's
Yeah,
fast.
hold it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly the V-locks that I've been using with it have added much more to the weight than the taxis.
Right, at least that helps with balance.
Yes, absolutely.
Running out of questions now.
No, we're here all day like this. I say you got me, you got Mehdi as well, so our product expert, and we've got Danny in the way. Yeah, so we've got 3 of us who can here today. He's hiding. It's fine.
So you had a question, mate?
Yeah, in terms of loading that into the camera, how does one go about doing that? And just directly with the camera?
And how many can you put in?
Yeah.
I want to say it's 10 that you can put in. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, yes, you can, isn't it?
It's on the SD card.
So that's mono selects if I get not post lock.
I want to say it's 10, but it's 10 on 14. I can't remember. Might be wrong.
Right, there's 4 slots on here. Graham, if I steal your HDMI cable, you don't think you'll see what's on the menu? Oh, I'll take it.
Yo.
So this can come up with my menus. Yes. So in the menus, you've got these monitoring setup bits, and then you've got on pages 9 and 10 all your lock controls. So you can set them separately to the SDI out, the monitor out, the HDMI out, and the video terminal. The video terminal is this one up front to go to their displays. And then you've got the LUT for the UV50s, which is the one on the back, so the module LUT. And then on page 11 you've got user LUTs. So there's 4 slots, And I don't know if you can add more than that and just select between which ones are active, or if you're just limited to 4.
I have a feeling you can, though. I'd have to double check.
That doesn't look like you can.
It's probably just 4.
Maybe it's just 4.
Okay.
Keep just keeping an SD card.
Yeah, and I'd say these would be mainly used for operator LUTs rather than like creative LUTs, like a director's LUT or a scene LUT or something like that for a more of a narrative type of work. I think that would mainly be done by the DIT or on monitors, things like that. This is more for owner-operator LUTs, so I have my LUT that I like rather than just having to use the pre-built Canon ones that go in. And for that, really, you normally only need 2, to be honest.
So I know somebody uses loads, so I
Really?
Why?
No, I don't know why. Yeah. No, I reckon 4 would be enough.
What's the stabilisation like? Can you test the colours?
I think there's some confusion online as to what the image stabilization is. It's not a stabilized sensor. It's not a moving sensor. It's fixed, just like all the others. But what it does is it's got very beefy processors in it. When it's using the XFAVC part rather than the raw part of it, it uses the extra processing power to add this digital stabilization. So it crops in a little bit and it gives you 5-axis stabilization. And testing it, it works really quite well on a static handheld shot. So you don't walk with it like the GH5, like image stabilization stuff like that. For some of those really good image stabilized sensors, you can sort of get away with doing some quick walking shots, and they don't look as good as a gimbal, but you know they're usable. Whereas things like this, it doesn't help that much for that. What it helps with a lot is if I just wanted to get a couple of close-ups of you guys now, handheld, and on like a still shot like that, but I just quickly, and I don't want to use a tripod and stuff like that. It's great for that, and it looks very fluid. I can't see any sort of nasty warping artifacts and stuff like that, like you sometimes get with post-production stabilization. Can't see anything like that in the tests that we've done.
No, that's good.
So it's quite a nice, handy sort of get out of jail free card a little bit for sort of owner operators. But it only works on the XFAVC side of the camera, not anymore. Because by definition it's raw, you can't do things like that because it's raw. You know.
Sorry, young man.
That's alright, alright.
On the Jaguar thing, you have to put it on a Ronin S.
Yeah, so he borrowed our Ronin S, stripped it right down.
You have the back on it though. You have the module 2.
Not for that one shot.
Oh, when the handing over.
So that one handing over shot, he stripped it down as much as possible, put as lightweight a lens on as possible, and used it on a Ronin S, just simply so it would fit through the window. I talked with Crep before the shoot because he wanted to borrow our Ronin S to do some tests and stuff like that, and he was very excited about being able to do that because he's a C700 FF user, so this camera for him is just the image quality I get from this camera in this body, and so for him he's incredibly excited by the raw side of the camera.
So the weight of the camera is what? So 1.7?
1.7.
And then he had a little pancake lens.
150 grams.
So he's just under the weight limit.
Just on.
Slightly lighter than the original 500. But it's more of the size as well, and as Graham said, the modularity of it.
Yeah.
That gives it that flexibility.
I don't think it with the Ronin S would be the setup I'd recommend. That's literally just for a specialist shot of him going through a window. It needs something small. It's slightly heavier body only than the C200, and the C200 didn't work massively well with the Ronin S. It does work a little bit, but it's not quite perfect. So really you need a proper gimbal, which is why I was using the Ronin 2 for the majority of the shoot with the back on, like I said.
Even with the flying crane, is it 3? Is that the...
It's a slightly higher payload, so that might handle it better than the Ronin S does.
No.
It's still a triple car. It's a triple.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You have to know if it'll fit on a Ronin 1.
I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, it's
We need an extension.
similar dimensions to the C200. It's just slightly sort of squared off a little bit. So if someone online has got it working with the C200, which they might well have by now, then, and you can find that online, then you sort of should be able to trust that this will, because it's only a little bit more, it's only 100 grams more or something like that than the C200. I can't remember the weight of the C200 off the top of my head. I think it's about 1.6, I think. Go on, take it.
Very with the 300 and the original 500, but
Yeah.
it's slightly over, I think.
Okay, maybe 150-ish. Cool. Any more questions?
Probably later.
Sweet. Right. So we've got some hands-on time. We've got some lunch coming in a couple of hours. So we've got this, and then after everyone's had a chance to play with it like this, we can set up a scene. We can rig it up in a different way or something like that. If one of you wants to try it on your shoulder, if one wants to try it with the EBF rather than the thing. Want to strip it right back down, so it's just that with an EF glass. We can look at autofocus, things like that. The things I would encourage you to do is, we'll rig it up for autofocus in a bit. I would encourage you to play with the autofocus because that is such a strength if you're not used to Canon so far. Moving to this from something like the FS7 for you two, autofocus is brilliant and it is actually useful for professional work. I know autofocus gets a dirty rep. I use it all of the time, but you just don't use it for absolutely everything. You choose when to use it, when it's going to actually help you. And things like pista cameras and stuff like that, it's so useful. But before we wrap that on, I recommend people stick it up on their shoulder, things like that. Have a play.
Yeah, something that's worth mentioning is we've got Samiro primes. So there are kind of new PL mounted prime lenses for kind of high-end cinema. So we released, they're still coming actually, but we started bringing them to the market in July. So I think this is the first time we've had so many here at the same time. So feel free to have a play with those. They're really a lens that has a different look to it. So Canon, we listen to what's very popular in the marketplace with that kind of anamorphic look. They're not an anamorphic lens, but they have a kind of more soft kind of look to it, which is very different for Canon. For us to make a lens that is soft is alien to Canon. Canon's normally pin sharp, very clean, and that's the way the guys in the factories in Japan, what we call lens masters, who make our lenses. For them to make a lens that is soft in areas is very different for us.
Character forming.
Exactly. But they have their own kind of look, but they're very new to the market.
Are there any plans to Canon to do anamorphics whilst you're on that subject?
Haven't seen them yet, but I wouldn't discount it completely. I think we've got in Burbank over near Hollywood, we've got a huge kind of experience centre there as well, and a pro centre. So very close to the Hollywood market, and so we get a lot of feedback of what's popular, what's being used, and then that gets fed back to Japan, and then they start making it. That's the birth of these lenses, and I think more to come. So I wouldn't be completely surprised if it happens, but I haven't seen them yet.
Another thing I'd encourage you to play with while we've got manual lenses on is you see this box that I can move about there. So that is the manual focus guide. So if I stick this up here on the plant, what it's going to do is it's going to use the autofocus system to tell me when I'm in focus, and it tells me which way to focus as well. So if we see that those arrows at the bottom separate, it means I'm close focused. If they go that way, it means I'm far focused. So it tells me which way to pull, how much to pull, and when I'm in focus. So that autofocus system is useful even if you're not using actual autofocus lenses, even if you want to use things like the Sumiros or anamorphics or anything like that. And that works with the face detect system as well. So you can do a face detect shot and you can have your full focus puller set up, wireless to pull and focus and all the rest of it. It's like having a cine tape built into the camera, except it's better than a cine tape. So it's ridiculously useful.
That's a process that is tried and tested and trusted. So we put it on this, it's on the LSR, it's across the board now on cameras that we put this feature on because, again, with autofocus and focus in general is something we believe we completely leave the market.
And also there's a big difference between, because I'm not Canon, I can say this, between Canon and Sony, because of course Sony have got their new autofocus system on the FX9, and it's very good, it's a very massive improvement for them. This is the difference between the two systems, is that the Canon's is very easily controllable. I haven't tested the two side by side, so which one's actually better, I don't know.
Robotic. It's very fast.
Yep.
Accurate. It's
Yep.
a bit robotic. You can change the speed of it.
Yeah, but how do you change your focus point?
So exactly, there's no touch screen.
That's my thing with the Sony, and I haven't spent enough time with the Sony to know. But I've spent a lot of time with the Canon because it's the same as on their previous cameras, and we use it all the time. And having face detect, which you can turn on and off with one button, and a touch screen so that you can do that. And even without that, you can jump between these 4 points with this wheel here on the side, which is very useful for sort of rule of thirds composition.
Yeah.
And with the side grip, the hand grip. Oh, that's not turned on. Turned on. Might be right. Again, it's plugged in properly. You can move it around like that. It's very, very easy to control. And I have a feeling the Sony is just going to be on a joystick arrows like
Yeah,
this.
you'd have to have the handle of it, which my hand's been in the bin for 5 years, so, and I have improved that hand, but I still wouldn't want it attached firmly.
With autofocus, we're really seeing that this adapts the way people have been shooting. And like you said, a lot of people wouldn't use it in the past, but more and more people go around to it once they see that they can trust this system. And for things like documentary, we're really, where you've got people as your subject, with first priority, it really, really helps. It saves you a lot of time on focusing. And if you look at last year's, 2019 Oscars, the feature-length documentary category, every single production was shot on Canon. And the winner, which was Free Solo, I don't know if anyone's seen that, which is the guy who climbs El Capitan without any ropes, was shot exclusively on Canon. So autofocus was a huge part of why that was done.
I think it's just a bit lazy.
Or if you're rigged up on the side of a mountain, I think you can only get one shot once. I think.
I just used that for the first time a couple of weeks ago. And it works an absolute dream. So,
You can enable the second frame as well through the menu, because by default it's just the one. And
Right.
you can enable the second one as well, so you can
Oh,
see
yeah.
some mix jump from one to the other.
I always forget about that. Where is
First
that?
menu, so the
In here. Autofocus.
It was the answer. Oh.
So that was the digital image stabilization, by the way.
The next menu.
Ah. So now one of these buttons, that toggles them on and off. How do you swap between them? Is it you click in the wheel and that highlights the different ones. So now if I want to pull focus between the plant and that, I can do that. I can get that in focus. I can then click to the second one and I can pull focus.
and presumably if you had an autofocus lens, you could do it automatically.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things that we definitely encourage you guys to play with. It's one of those things that you have to sort of play with to believe it. On paper, it's very difficult to say, oh, autofocus is great. You have to kind of experience, understand what you can deliver, and it can save you time. So if you're on a shoot, you don't have to worry about focusing all the time. We really promise that this will work for you. So things that Canon can do kind of out of the box, that on paper you can't really understand is the autofocus, the colouring that we have, so we can save you time and money in grading because our colours are so accurate. And then also the build of the product, so the ergonomics and the material, that's a block of manganese and alloy. So if you've got a product that you already own that sells very, very well and lots of people use, that's a solid plastic product that might let you down on the shoot. These things are built as tools. We understand that is someone's livelihood and that's what they need on a job, as that's made as strong and robust as possible. So the conditions that Brett was shooting there were, some were cold, some were hot, so it's going from different temperatures because you've got up a mountain in Spain. But I think Brett shot a Chevrolet commercial C500 full frame, which was in the desert in Dubai, and he had sand, all sorts of things, and extreme heats. The product never stopped working. So those are things that we take really seriously.
I know I'm just coming late. What sort of media does it take in?
CF Express.
How many cards? Two.
So CF Express is a new format. It's the same physical construction as XQD,
Okay.
but it's a new advanced format, which is looking like it might actually just be the future of media for video.
What's the right speed on those offloading?
It varies. So they're saying speeds up to 2,000 megabits a second, which is huge. That varies on whether that's peak right. This is the problem with video, and the issue I have with nearly every media is that it's an ish and it's about peak write speed. Because for photography, fair enough, that's all you care about. For video, it doesn't matter whether it can do 2,000 unless it can do 2,000 consistently across a hour-long clip. Because if it can't do that, we don't care. So Angelbird do sustained write speeds on theirs, and I think it's about 1,200, something like that, on their cars, which is substantially faster than C500 II. It's like twice as fast. So it's a big step forward.
Yeah. And as mentioned, we give you a 512 card for free. It's in the box when you buy it, which is sadly extremely.
What do you actually get in the box?
So in the box, as you see it, you get camera body, you get A60 battery, you get the EF mount, top handle, so side grip, and you get the LCD, the charger, and the component.
So this is how to compare this to its competition is very difficult because it competes with quite a lot of different cameras. If you're comparing this to any of the full-frame cinema cameras out there, so you're talking about the Alexa LF, you're talking about the Sony Venice, the Red Monstro, cameras like that. Obviously, not only is it substantially cheaper than those, it also ready to shoot with just a brain is ready to shoot. So yes, it's a modular system, but it's not modular in the way that like a Red is or one of the Infinities at the back is, where if you buy the brain, it's just a brain. You can't do anything. You need to add those modules to make it a functional camera. Whereas this out of the box is a functional camera, just like the 600 was.
Yeah, sure.
It's got bow legs on it.
Yeah, I've got to put lens on it. Cool, shall we have some hands-on time? We'll leave it here rigged up like this, and then we'll probably change its configuration in maybe an hour, something like that. Should we say?
Well, I have a problem there. I can see one little problem with what the system. My focus is on the wrong side now.
Right. But that's why you use the
AC side battery.
Yeah, I'd be better off with that.
battery or just
Done side.
I will stand for you.
It's their BPA batteries. And then they've got a module that goes on the back to put V-locks on it as well if you want to. Or you could just do your own little weird lamp got here.
That's not too bad.
It was quite well. I think it's the best camera that Canon have designed so far for use on the shoulder. I really do. It lines up much nicer. This more square and more modular way. And
Can
this
you-
isn't even the nicest
Can
way.
you
I've seen
access the buttons without poking yourself in the eye?
Here?
Yeah.
No. Because it will be done by touch. I can't see that. And my problem here is if I want to focus.
Well, swap that over.
That's good though. Now, front problem.
Yeah, as I said, this is not the ideal.
Yeah, I don't think this would score much for the ideal setup. No, I want bad on down out there, yeah. And it's not as intuitive which way you're turning as I thought it should be.
The arrow will point out which direction, left or right.
So if it's further
Yes,
away,
yeah.
close focused.
Get used to it quite quick actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're now close focused from that point, and then if you turn it the other way, you can far focused.
I can see this would be really quite good with a autofocus lens.